see everybody. Welcome to the April 14th version of Speaker Co-working, sponsored by Speaker Hub. I am Ron Story. I am the head of membership at Speaker Hub. And I'm joined by Angela Lewis, who's the head of operations. We run a team of, I don't know, a lot of people that make this thing go that we're very proud of. We're happy to have them here to push us along, but we're also happy to be able to serve you guys. Good to see everybody. Looks like we got a few new people, so we'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the wins. So, Andrea E. Thomas, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. It's so tempting to say good morning, but it's good afternoon where I am. My name is Andrea Thomas, professionally Dr. Andrea Thomas, and I work in the space of helping people work together more effectively worldwide. So that's usually in virtual teams, and I have been doing this for the past few years, working with universities to help faculty design those collaborative experiences. And I have been given the great gift of being able to help people understand artificial intelligence and what that means in the space of collaboration. And so I have pivoted into speaking more broadly about artificial intelligence and helping people understand what it is, but also how it can be used, and also what some of those risks are. So this is my first time ever joining a co-working space, and it's great to be here with all of you. Nice to meet you. And thanks to Ron.
Oh yeah, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Any wins? Any wins so far? We're gonna come up with we're gonna talk about the surveys at the end of the day to see
Uh-huh.
who did their surveys.
Do you
See if
want to hear
anybody
some
won.
excitement?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Jasmine, go
You want
ahead.
to hear some excitement? Oh my
Yes.
God. Well, I'm in Canada, so it's not the States, so I didn't have to be afraid. The police just left my house.
Uh-oh.
The the found out on Friday. You guys call it DMV, we call it Service Ontario. Went there to update my license. There's a whole new person buying a whole new Mercedes in my name. Whole new Mercedes Benz in my name. I have all these fines, a whole identity. There's another Jasmine out there, but it's not me. Oh, it's been a rough weekend. So I was praying that because they insist on coming to your home to investigate. So I'm so happy that they left in time. I keep saying, I have a Zoom, I have a Zoom, I have a Zoom. And he goes, oh, we want to get you, ma'am. So this is taken off your name. But that's what I've been dealing with this weekend.
It's
But I have a
unfortunate.
very important interview with a magazine later on. Back to Speaker Hub. That's
High
the
five.
excitement I had this weekend, Ron.
Hey, well, I mean, did they come on a horse? Y'all still got
No,
the mounted
but you
police,
know
the
what I
mounties?
realized? They block your driveway, eh? It's a nice, quiet neighborhood. The only black woman in this neighborhood, and the cops is at her house first thing on a Monday morning. It ain't pretty. I keep saying, can I meet you at the parking lot at the police station?
So where'd you hide the Mercedes? No, I'm just
I didn't know
kidding.
what kind. It's a blue Mercedes. It's a blue Mercedes with a license plate I've never seen and a light. Oh, so now when I finish here and after my interview for the magazine, I'm heading down to Service Ontario to make sure they, clear it off my name and do their investigation on their side.
No, well, hopefully you get that worked out. That's unfortunate. But high
Yeah,
five on the magazine article.
thank you.
Are are
Thank
you
you.
are you being featured or are you writing?
They want to feature me in the magazine, Brains
Okay.
magazine. As a matter of
No,
fact, I've got three of them lined up.
that's incredible. It's huge, huge,
Yes,
huge, huge deal.
yes.
Any other wins? Jadika, what's up? Jadika has on hair wrap number 633. Um, it's always color coordinated with what she wears. For those who've never heard that joke before, this is a running joke that we run every day, and I just make up a random number. But it literally is a different one every day. So, any other wins? Anybody else have anything to celebrate? Willie, good to see you coming back.
I talked to those, I had a meeting or a speech with 70, 75 kids of this program, college prep kids called Inroads. And so that was huge. That was nice for me.
Yep, Inroads. I'm very familiar with Inroads. One of my friends he took the internship with Inroads, and when we were in the 10th grade, and it was an internship with Boeing, and he still works at Boeing to this day. He never stopped. He got hired by them as an intern in the 10th grade, and 30
Wow.
years later, he's still there. I mean, it was 1994 when he started, so he's been there for 30 years, which is wild. Um, I had a choice. I could have done Inroads, but I chose to do something called the Minority Youth Entrepreneurship Program at Washington University. And yeah, if I went down the Inroads path, I would be an engineer at one of these companies. But I chose to go the entrepreneurship path, so I'm very familiar with Inroads. Great place to speak. If you can speak at Inroads, Trio, Upward Bound, any of those high school or college prep types of organizations, you're having a huge impact. Again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those speakers and the people that would come in to talk to me about different things. So, any other wins? And then we're gonna see. Oh, good to see you,
I
Willie.
got
Yep. Um,
yeah,
Cardis.
yeah. So I got scheduled for a podcast coming from all the way from Dubai. So that's going to be coming up in June. So it's exciting.
That's pretty dope, man. Carter's in his cubicle today. Usually he's on the stairwell talking to us, hiding out from his boss. But today they got him actually in the office, you know. Oh, Valencia, talk about it. Let's look. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's official. They emailed me on Friday. So it's official. The co-working deal is a 3-month deal where they want me to speak virtually to their employees, their ERG. Yeah, so I'm cool.
What
Thank
is
you.
that? So
It came
is
from
it
you.
is it every month or is it once a week? How often?
It's once a month. So May, June, and July. And then they want me to come in within like the next 2 weeks and do like a meetup with the employees and all too.
Oh, that's dope. Wait, what do you mean? Thanks for me. What did I do? What do we do?
No, you
I don't remember.
suggested it. Remember, you told us
Oh,
a
I
couple of
thought you had
weeks.
already had one of them. When I was suggesting it, you just did it after we talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Super high five. No clue. I thought you already had it set up. I'm congratulating you on something I thought was already done. She's like, no, you remember you talked about co-working last week? Oh, that's a double high five, you know?
Thank
High
you.
five for taking action and high five for closing the deal. Yeah, I mean, co-working is easy to get speaking gigs, especially if you need um, referrals, recommendations, video testimonials. Take your phone afterwards and put it on the tripod and record yourself with that person. Hey, what was your thoughts about such and such? And it could be you or have someone else do it. What was your thoughts about the talk today? And then now you got all of these different testimonials because the people at the co-working, they're willing. Here's the one thing. Every one of them is a different company. So you get a different logo. It was Angela from this company, Andrea from this company, Cardis from this company, Willie from this company, right? Versus if you go into a bigger corporation, they're all from Netflix. They're all from General Motors. Does that make sense? So you can get multiple logos on your testimonials, which is a huge deal. But yeah, high five, super duper high five, right? Way to use the co-working play. I'm telling you, any city you in, if you want a speech and you need some practice to work on your ideas and some testimonials, co-working. They always looking for speakers, right? They're always looking for speakers. So, um, any other wins? Anything that anybody I forgot about? Good to see you, Bonnie, John, Janissa, Dr. Meg, Christy O. Christy, is this, we ask Christy this every time. This is Christy from England, right? She usually don't put her name up, but I think we've asked her every time she's popped in, is this a new Christy? And she says, no, it's me. So, yep, it's the same Christy. Cool. All right. Just want to make sure. All right. Let's talk about surveys. Did anybody do any of the surveys? No, there's no judgment if you didn't. Let me put this out there. There's no judgment if you didn't. Every business moves at its own pace, right? So I'm not here to tell somebody, "Oh, you don't really want it." That's not it. I can't imagine Elon Musk saying, "Ron, you run this little bitty speaker business. Why don't you dream bigger?" I'd be like, "Dude, leave me alone." In the same way, I don't look down on other speakers for moving at the pace that they're moving at because it's your business, right? So I want to make sure that I never come across as badgering somebody. Now, pushing, I do push people. Let me just admit to that. I am a self-admitted pusher, right? But I'm not going to harass you and make you feel bad. So anybody get any more surveys done? We had $250 up on the line. So Valencia and then Bonnie.
Yeah, I did the surveys. I mean, I didn't do all of them, right? But I did what I did. They enjoyed the surveys and I enjoyed it.
What'd you learn? Let's talk about it. This is what I want to talk about. What'd you learn?
I learned that the information was really good. Like everyone said, it was very thought provoking, the information, and it made them think. And then for me, I was able to get information, to help me, with my own research. So on both ends, it was great. They really enjoyed it, and I
Yeah.
did too.
Do you know why that is?
Why?
It's hard for them to disagree with themselves. All you did was ask the question. If they don't like their own answers, something wrong with them.
Hey, Ron.
Go ahead.
Ron, Andrea asks, can you tell the newbies about the surveys?
Yeah. So
Context.
I'll walk through it. Let me bring everybody up to speed because this seems to be a daily topic. So one of the main things that we do is we want you guys to be thought leaders, right? A lot of times we hear speakers speak, and they're not thought leaders. They're more parrots. They're regurgitating other people's research. They're using everybody else's quotes. They haven't done any on the ground, boots on the ground thought leadership. They're just parrots, as I like to call them. They're just repeating what they've heard someone else talk about. So what I know is by surveying people, not only can you learn more for your thought leadership, but because you have a separate business, those may be potential clients down the road. So for us at Speaker Hub, speaking doesn't start with speaking at a conference. It starts with one-on-one conversations, right? To develop that thought leadership. And then it expands out to podcast, where you're having a one-on-one conversation still with the podcast host, but it's being broadcasted to many people, right? And then you take your thought leadership that you've developed and has been kind of honed in with the questions from several podcasters, and you take that to a small association where you can see if you're delivering it in a way that puts people to sleep or not, right? And once you've done enough of those, and you say, hey, I've presented for the Illinois Department of Realtors, the Missouri Department of Insurance Agents, the Indiana Department of Firemen. Now, when you go and you want to do an article, this is out of order, but it should be press is next. Because once you can get those thought leadership articles like Jasmine's doing, it makes it easier for them to book you for a conference because you're now a contributor for Forbes. You're now a contributor for Business Insider, right? Because they're not looking at you as just Valencia Dantzler. They're looking at you as Forbes contributor Valencia Dantzler, right? And then from that point, you end up with corporate consulting and a lot of other things based on your credentials and actual thought leadership. Does that make sense? So that's the origin story of the actual surveys. Here's what the surveys look like. So the surveys start with this. It's how do you sum up what you do in one sentence? So for me, it's I help entrepreneurs to get booked for paid speaking gigs, podcast interviews, and press coverage so that they can get more clients without having to dance on TikTok, right? And then afterwards, I go into asking some basic questions to learn more about my audience. What have they done with coaches in the past? Who they choose? Why they choose them? If they were me, how would they sell to themselves? What product would they create for themselves? How much would they pay for that product if they created it for themselves? That's what the base of the survey is. Does that make sense, Andrea? I'll share the link with you so that you can learn about it. But I want you to hear some of the results people are getting because this is how the bills are paid. There's a great car salesman who says, where the money reside, where the money reside. The money resides in these surveys, I promise you. So here's the key question, Valencia. How many referrals did you get? You knew I was going to ask.
Yes, I got one.
Hey, high five. Right. How many surveys did you do? One survey, two surveys?
No, I did like 6.
Six? Okay. And why what happened when you got to the referral questions?
Well, some of the people were in an association that I'm with. And so they said, oh, well, you can just get them from the different people who are in the association. And I went a little bit deeper with them. I say, no, just, and then, so others were like, well, I'll just have to get back with you on that.
Okay, cool.
So.
And then here's one of the things to let them know. Hey, can you just give me their names and I can look them up on LinkedIn? Right?
Okay.
Because that's really what you're looking for. Can you just give me their name? I'll look them up on LinkedIn. Because a lot of times people don't want to give out people's phone numbers and stuff like that. But they don't have a problem with you reaching out on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
One
I'm gonna keep
day.
doing them because I liked it.
Okay, cool. High five. You should keep going. Right? Any other wins? Was it Bonnie? Who else had their hand up? Bonnie, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So I did 4 last week. I have 3 more coming up this week. And Ron, we had the conversation about wait and wait for them to give you those referrals. Don't let them out of it with, hey, I can, can send me an email, whatever. I appreciated that. One of them that in the email place did send me 3 referrals and another one sent me 2. So that's at least coming back. I had to chase it a bit, but it's coming back. And no more of that. I have to wait right there for him. But thanks for I think the idea of just the name and looked up in LinkedIn takes pressure off. Like you say, someone might not want to give somebody's email or contact out. So I'm going to use that as well. But yeah, it's coming. They're coming back now. I'm not with AJ on 60 in a day or whatever he's got going on yet, but I'm getting there. Thanks.
The thing about it is that this is the worst you'll ever be. Right, guys? This is the worst we'll ever be. Like, the problem is if this was the best we would ever be, right? No, this is the worst. We at the bottom. We at the bottom of the bottom. We only gonna go up, right? So as we do more, you'll learn more. You'll get more comfortable. Any other surveys before we go to AJ? Anybody else got any results? But high five. Like this. Look, let me tell you something, Valencia. Don't you be ashamed of that one. First off, you did some surveys. Some people didn't do no surveys. So you had the courage to do them. High five. And you got a referral. Cool. Next time, you'll get more. Cool. So, hey, relax. We good. All right. Just want to keep pushing people, man. This is good. AJ, what up?
Hey, so I wanna give props out to Valencia. I just saw your message today about me doing your referral, so I got you. I'm gonna do that for you. But for me, man, this has been a total game changer. Something that I'm putting in to my processes for probably every week going forward. Because the people that I'm meeting with are literally teaching me what to sell them. Like they're literally just putting a program together and it's allowing me to understand who I don't want to sell. That's probably the best thing it's doing. Because like anybody that says unrealistic expectations, right? I already know I ain't dealing with you. Anybody that has a, a time restraint that doesn't make sense, or if they say, like I had one person tell me, well, if you were to do this, you know, I would want to make, I'm willing to invest $1,000, but I wanted to make me 30,000. Hey, yo, who wouldn't want that? Like, get out of here. Like, I'll never call you back. Stop it. We'll never do business. So the best part is it's actually teaching me the type of conversations I have with clients and what to listen for. Because if I hear certain things and I'm like, okay, I don't want to work with you because you're gonna be a headache more than anything else. And one of the questions, Ron, that you have us ask, the have you already invested in this? Right? That's a game changer. Like, listen to that answer. If they're not already putting money towards it, might be a red flag, right? Because that means because the ones that aren't putting money towards it are the ones that have the stupidest answers I've ever heard in my life about the return they should get on it. I'm like, that makes sense because you're an idiot. But I don't say that. I don't say it. I just keep writing 8 questions down. And I go to the next question. But in my mind, I'm like, yo, no, I'm good. So now I'm gonna keep doing these forever. You on mute, Ron.
Just realized it. I think one of the interesting things is we get to choose our customers, right? The survey gives us data, but then we get to choose who we want to go back and work with. We ask for their permission to call them back, but we're not obligated to, right? So the great thing about being in business is that you do get to choose your customer. The second thing that I think that may be a bit undervalued in this entire process is you get to hear the dog whistles of what a good customer sounds like. You get to hear the intricacies that nobody else, a lot of people are just making assumptions about the customers that they work with. They're going on the stage presenting assumptive data. They don't have any hard data to say that this is what this group does. When I say 50% of speakers charge under $1,000, I actually have the surveys from the speakers to show that they charge under $1,000. When I say 80% of speakers make less than $50,000 a year, I have the actual data. So I can come with a fresh perspective. Now, when I'm going to write an article on the speaking industry, I have authoritative positioning because I have the data to put in the article. I surveyed 5,000 speakers, and here's what we found. That's huge. Nobody else has that. That's called thought leadership. That's what we're developing. But now, if I can get paid along the way by turning some of these people who gave me the data into customers, huge win. Why? Because I got to eat in between the 9 months when the next conference comes up. Conferences booked 6 to 9 months out. How you going to eat in between? Elephant hunters eat rabbits. Let me say it again. Elephant hunters eat rabbits. When I lived in St. Louis, the only time I saw an elephant walking down the street was once a year at the parade, the Thanksgiving parade or the New Year's parade, right? But you know what I saw in my backyard all the time? Rabbits, little bitty rabbits that hopped around. Now imagine, I'm gonna give you a hunting analogy. Imagine if I was starving and I needed to eat. I could wait until the parade comes, but that parade may be 9 months from now, like a conference. How am I eat in the meantime? I got to shoot this little fast rabbit. And that's going to sustain me until the elephant comes. Now, when that big, slow, lumbering elephant comes, I got him because he's a bigger target and he's moving slower because I've been practicing on these rabbits. This meeting every day is a rabbit for me. I don't make any money from it, but I do it every day because y'all question everything. Yeah, I bring out a topic, somebody gonna be like, I don't know about that. Well, I don't believe that. And my friend told me this. And I'm like, yep, cool. Let me shoot this rabbit. Right? Because as we get bigger and the elephants start coming, they're like, dude, this dude, he don't miss. He don't miss. Yeah, because I practiced all this time for 40 days and 40 nights with y'all. Is this making sense? So the surveys is really having us to find out who are we as business owners, because our customers are just reflecting back to us the good and bad and the opportunity. One moment, I gotta, Edge, can you take over? Thank you.
We had a question in the chat. Dacia asked, how, who do you, who do you, how do you determine who to survey? And AJ gave a great answer. AJ, would you like to share a bit
Yeah.
more broadly from your experience?
I think a lot of times, and I made this mistake when I first started, which is probably why I didn't get to 50 initially, because I was just looking for people that would be my ideal customer, right? And then it was just like, you know what, just let me call people that's close to me, because those are the ones that I talk to anyway. So I literally just opened my phone, and like, your phone gives you a log of who you talk to the most. Just call them. Be like, hey, let me do this survey, right? Because the person that gave me the most referrals has nothing to do with my business. She gave the most dumbest answers out of everybody because she's not in business. She's a government employee. She was like, I don't do none of that. However, when we got to the end and I was like, hey, do any, so by the time I talked to her, she said, this seems like this seems like a survey for business people. like people that own businesses. And I was like, yeah, it kind of is. And she said, well, I think you should get them. And then she gave me 23 people that she was like, well, this person in business, this person in business, right? So although she had nothing to do with it, she's the one that gave me the most referrals. So I don't think you should limit it to, oh, let me go find these people that are great for my business. The person that, so I sent Ron a screenshot of this other guy. I wish I could put it up on my phone right now. So I did the survey with my cousin that lives down here. He ain't got nothing to do with business, right? He's a school teacher. He then sent me a referral to this dude named Dominique. I have no idea who Dominique is. Dominique is his homeboy. Once I got referenced with the survey, Dominique was like, "Hey, I probably got about 20 people I can introduce you to." So I sent Ron a screenshot. Dominique, hey, this is my friend AJ. You know what I'm saying? He's doing this. And he just copied and pasted it and he was just sending it to people. So I have a list of people from somebody that, like, two people that had nothing to do, like, that really couldn't help me. I actually gave you the most people that could help. So I wouldn't determine it by, oh, let me pick this right person. Just do the survey. Just do it. Anybody you could talk to, do it.
Hey everyone, thank you, AJ. That's really powerful to show how one person leads to the next. Darren Franklin, who was on this call, created a survey and he dropped his link in the chat as well. The format's a little different, but Darren had to hop off, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like in Google Forms. So all of them are just here on one page. So you can see that he said he's surveying 200 people over the next month. He's in the human performance and coaching industry. So he surveyed 200 people over the next month to collect data to create the best service product to guide males beyond the edge. He would appreciate hearing your thoughts about the coaching industry. So he doesn't say I'm selling something. He just says, in general, here's what I'm doing. And this is a survey. For those who are new, this is something that you read off and you type in. You don't send the survey. So he just goes through and asks questions. You all can modify this and create your own Google form. So you go into Google, there are those 9 little dots. When you go into your Gmail, there are 9 little dots in the top right-hand corner. Click on that, and then you just copy and paste the questions, but make it apply to your business. But this is a really great example right here as well. And then you can just create your own form. So you can use that as a model as well.
And I have no problem helping walk anybody through the survey as long as you're willing to do one for me.
No, this is really good. Thanks, AJ, for sharing. Yeah, I had a daughter alarm go off. My son and daughter upstairs fighting, and mama ain't here, so had to go save my son because she's the worst. He was in trouble. I had to go get him. Janika, what's up? Bart, good to see you.
I'm the little slow one. I I like the surveys, but for me, what's been happening is understanding how to put the questions together for what I do. That's, this weekend I spent time working on that in terms of getting the questions together for the survey, because I'm looking at the standpoint, I work with individuals and groups and trying to put those questions together for referrals based on that. So that was my thing. But I will say, AJ, I'm gonna get a hold of you because yes, I'll give you a referral. I need the assistance in terms of moving forward with the survey because I see the value in it. And the questions one of my questions was just answered when Angela talked about you put it on the Google Doc and you actually read it to the people and you type in the answers. Am I correct? You type in the answers as they answer. Okay, I was trying to understand the structure in terms of how you do it and looking at the questions. So basically that's where I'm at, and that's been my holdup, and I'm moving forward with that right now.
I'm gonna share with you a way to do this, right? So you all see my screen here. So this is one of my old paper surveys. I used to have to do this. I didn't have Google Docs at the time. So I had to type this into a regular form. Does that make sense? Right? So here's what you do, right? So you take these questions here, or you can take the entire document, in which I'm going to do it here. I'll show you. And I'll give you this file, Jadika, so that you can do it. Let me make sure. All right. So you take that, you're going to take that doc. We're going to come over into Chat GPT, and then I'm going to upload that doc into Chat GPT, right? So I just put this doc in, and I'm going to say, I want to rewrite these questions. I want to rewrite this survey based on what we do at Speaker Hub instead of when I was in financial services. Create the intro and adapt the questions to our industry. So I figured I would give you all the actual file so that you could, it'll make it easier for the questions, right? So it's reading a document. And then now, as you may know, I'm building a platform and community at Speaker Hub to help entrepreneurs, experts, and coaches get booked. You notice ain't none of that on that original file. You see how I rewrote my intro before expanding into the market? Would love to know your thought on the speaking industry, right? What's been your experience with getting booked for podcast and media exposure? I mean, it just does it for you, right? Is that helpful? Right? So, and then now it gives me it gives me everything here. Now, watch this. Let's see. Give this to me in Google Doc format, right? So then now it's just going to give me the file, and then I can go and open up the file in Google Docs. All right. So there it is. Let's see. All right. Let me see if it'll open. Come on. I think I may have clicked on it too soon. Dang it. Yeah, that link don't work. Some ain't working.
It's been having a problem with that lately. With Google Docs.
Let me give me a doc download. Right. But I'm going to I'm going to put it in a Google file and then give it to everybody and then just use that prompt. Does that make sense? And then Jadika, it should just tell them what you do. Or I think you have the paid version already. So it probably already understands what you do. And then just use that. Right. So that should solve like 90% of it. Let me see. All right. See if it works. There it is. Nope. Wrong thing. Select all. Boom. Let me see if I can do it again. But yeah, this will be super duper helpful for everyone. All right. So yeah, here it is. Let me just give it to everybody here. And then all of you all can use it. Copy link. Anybody can make a copy. Cool. So it's in the chat. Let me know if it opens, and everybody should have it. So that should get everyone started. But you see how easily it went ahead and created my questions for me and adjusted everything. Got it? All right, cool. So one of the big things that we talk about is that I believe that AI is going to be hard for them to replace speakers, right? Because I can talk about my son and my daughter upstairs fighting. If ChatGPT say my son and daughter was upstairs fighting the other day, I'm unplugging the computer, right? I'm just saying, because he shouldn't have no kids out here talking. ChatGPT 1 and ChatGPT 2 was fighting, and then I called ChatGPT 6 in the room, and no, we ain't doing that, right? So our ability to be unique and human using ChatGPT as an assistant is huge, right? To assist us with being more efficient. Um, any other questions? Was this helpful? Does this make sense? Who's the furthest ahead right now? AJ, how many have you done? I know you've done several.
Yeah, I think I'm in the 30s.
Okay, cool. Let's just keep it running, man. Let's just keep going. You know, the deadline was just there just to see if anybody wanted to push for it, but there's so much more on the other side.
I missed the
Outside of
deadline.
it was today. Yeah, you good. I mean, nobody made it, so it's all good. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep pushing. You know, you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you. So just keep going. Any other wins or updates? Bart is Bart. We suffered our first casualty of a speaker hub with Bart. Bart set up a new email with us in March, a new email that was untested, and I want to get an update. Has Google replied back to you, Bart?
Not favorably. So
Okay.
stay restricted.
Okay. All right. So here's the one rule we know now, and we set some limits that will be implemented on Monday, where the most pictures you'll be able to send in a day, the new limit will be 100. And then you will get a notification from us saying you connect another email. You can't send from this account again until tomorrow. The reason being is that sometimes we pitch a lot and Google gets upset. One of the best things is that there'll also be another warning saying, be sure that your email is at least 30 days old before you use it with doing outbound. If it's under 30 days, no matter if nobody ever marked you as spam or anything like that, Google has its own internal limits on new accounts to prevent people from abusing their systems. If you're paying for a Google account instead of a free one, or paying for a Microsoft instead of a free one, these limits don't apply. You can override it. But when it's a free account, it's hard to override, right? So Bart, let's meet again to see if we can figure out another solution for that account, or if not, we just have to move on and find a different account to send from.
And so a question, you said 100. Are you advising 100 total, and that includes follow-up?
Yeah, we're counting all of that. We're
Yep.
counting follow-ups in the total number of emails sent, not just 100 pitches, but 100 emails total from an account. We set an internal limit at 100 to allow you to follow up, right? And Miguel is building out a email rotation system right now. We never expected someone to break it, but thanks to Bart, he broke it. He overdid it, but that's how you figure it out. Any other questions before I get into my little topic for the day? And nope. Okay, perfect. So one of the things that I kind of touched on earlier is we're all moving at our own pace, right? We all have our own goals. We all have our own business. We all have the things that we want to do. And a lot of times in the speaking business, we're not around a lot of peers, so we can feel like we're not making progress. Does that make sense? So you feel like, oh man, I ain't spoken in 2 months, and you feel like you're not making progress. So the reason why we built the speaker flywheel and these other things is to keep you active while you're waiting on those other things to come. So we talk about 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 quarters. The 2 weeks is the time in between when you can get booked for a podcast and that podcast comes out, right? But if you have one going every week, after a month, you got something going at least once a week where you're sharing your message with somebody. 2 months is how long it takes for you to get a association gig. They've already booked their person for April. They're probably talking to somebody for May. So if you reached out to them today, you may go speak at that association in June. One great example, Valencia. When did you reach out to the co-working place?
I reached out to them, I think it was around the 9th.
Okay. And when is your first time to come talk with them? I mean, like your first presentation.
It's gonna be in May. Well,
Yeah,
next,
you see how that's a month out?
yeah.
She pitched it in April, beginning of April. She won't be able to go do it until May because they already got somebody for April, right? So if you understand those schedules when you're going to pitch, number one, you're pitching on the right schedule. But then number two, you manage your expectations, right? One of the main questions we get is, man, if I sign up, can I get booked? I need a conference next month. If I sign up for Speaker Hub, can I get booked to speak next month? Sure, on a podcast, man, podcasts don't pay. Cool. That's not my problem. That is the industry's schedule. The industry schedules conferences 6 to 9 months out. So I don't know what to tell you, bro. So understanding the expectations of the industry that we're in, but also understanding the work that's necessary on our side to keep busy so that we're not going through these fast, what do they call it? Famine and feast and famine, right? You're not going through feast and famine. It's a cycle. And it's like, no. I got to eat every day. You know, my baby needs some new shoes. That's what my mama used to say. My baby needs some new shoes. So we got to make sure that we're steadying out our income. What are some of the things? Let's talk about people's businesses, because I bring that up because that's the thing that sustains you while you're waiting on the speaking gig. It's the actual business that you've built underneath. So I know one time we used John. John talked about he has a membership group. He sells books. He does trainings on mind maps. He does corporate workshops on mind maps. What are some of the other things that you guys have going on? I know Alicia, I bought her product. Alicia helps people to stop their sugar addiction. You know, what are some of the, Janika has her in practice reflexology. I keep calling it that. I'm probably screwing it up, but she helps you to remove pain by pinching your hand and your elbow start itching when you do it. I tried it. It works. No, I'm just playing. But what are some of the other things that we offer that are offered out here? Or do we need to develop products?
Coaching
So
for sure, right?
what's up?
Coaching for sure. One-on-one and group coaching.
Is that something that you have or something you want to develop?
Oh, something I have. I
Okay.
didn't hear you say that about.
Oh yeah. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't name all the products on the menu, but yeah. Right. Who else has some other products that and services that they offer?
I put it in the chat. I offer mental health counseling. That's my primary business, but I'm wanting to reach out and do workshops on mental resilience, mental toughness, mental strength, building character, becoming a champion. So
Gotcha. No, that's incredible. And do you have a book also, Dacia?
it's at the proofreaders.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. And is there I live in Medellin, Colombia, long ways away from you. Is I do 15 meetings a day. I don't have a lot of time for an hour counseling. Is there a training I could do autonomously on my own?
Not yet. I did a training on Teachable or Thinkific, but it's dated. I need to update it.
Right. And if I wanted to do a live workshop with my entire team, is that available?
Yes.
Okay. And is that live or virtual?
Either.
Okay.
Primarily virtual, unless they're going to fly me in, or depending on where it is.
Okay. Right. But you see how I took one thing and book course, she has the one-on-ones, we added group, we added all these other things off the same product. Right? Y'all ever been to Chipotle? Right? You know, Chipotle got one product and they just, right? See, Chipotle food line, if I can spell it right. Right? You go to Chipotle, if you get it on a burrito, on a tortilla, it's a burrito. If they put the lettuce in first, it's a salad. If they put the rice in first, it's a bowl. It's the same stuff, right? So we got to come up with our Chipotle menu of how we're going to deliver what we want. If they put it in 3 small tortillas, it's called tacos. If they put it in 1 big tortilla, instead of rolling it, they fold it, it's called a quesadilla. It's the same ingredients, guys, right? It's the same ingredients. Most people, Taco Bell does the same thing. What's the difference between a soft taco and a chalupa? The chalupa was fried. They fried the flour tortilla to make it soft and crispy. But it's the same stuff that's in a regular soft taco, right? Nachos, right? Nachos is just tacos that didn't get their life together. right? Right? That's all that nachos are. Is tacos that didn't get their life together. They life falling apart, right? So when we think of it from that perspective, we have to think of. We always think I got to create something new. No, you need to create a different version of the same thing, right? Let me show you. Let me show you a great example of this, right? Right. So there's a lot of articles on these cars. BMW 7 Series. Most people don't know this. BMW makes Rolls Royce, right? Rolls Royce is a brand owned by BMW, right? They have the same stuff. I'm talking about like exactly the same stuff. The keys look the same, everything, right? Let's do this. Common parts. Look at this. They share 20% of the parts, which means the engine, the chassis, is all the same. It's the same car, right? And the Phantom, right? So people talk about this all the time. Well, it's just a luxury version. One version of the car is $100,000. The other one is $300,000, right? Another, yes, baby. Okay, un momento. Dame. Okay. So here's another company that does this. The Audi, VW, and Lamborghini parts, right? A lot of times you look at the thing and it'll be, they look underneath. Wait, where is it? Let me see. Watch this. So don't think that you're doing something crazy. It's just normal.
Torch. Let's have a look at some of the parts. So, the suspension arm. Oh, that says VW on it. What's up here?
VW.
Oh, the rear wheel steering. Oh, that says VW on it.
Volkswagen.
Let's have a look at this one here. These suspension arms. Oh, once again, look. VW. And then up in there, what about that? Oh, no, that's VW again. Ah, the dampers. Let's have a look. Oh, wait a minute. Those are Audi rings, surely. Let's move further back.
Now,
See if we can...
why is that important? Well, that's a $300,000 truck, but it has the same parts as Audi's 70,000 Volkswagen version, their 90,000 Audi Q7 version, and the $300,000 Lamborghini version. It's the same car, right? But y'all feel bad about selling a $17 book, a $400 course, and a $2,000 coaching program with the same information. Why? It's just different ways to get there faster. I promise you, the Lamborghini is faster than the Audi, and the Audi is faster than the VW. Does that make sense? If you put them in a race, the Lamborghini's gonna win. The Audi's gonna be in second, and the VW gonna be in third. Right? Somebody read your book. It's gonna take them a long time to get through it. They take your course. They can get through it a lot faster. They meet with you in the middle. They can just coach you through it. Now, let me tell you why. I'm going to give you an example of this. We live this right now on this call, right? On the call, I share the surveys. Most of y'all have my number. You call me. We talk all the time. But I talk to AJ and Angela more than anybody, right? So what do you think AJ do on the calls? Hey, man, if I want to do more, what would you do? Hey, give me this trick about this. How do I do this? What if I change this? What you think? So he's a little bit ahead. He's just going faster because he's with me all the time. Does that make sense? No, that doesn't mean that other people couldn't call me or text me. Darren, Cardis, Jadika, Bonnie, y'all got my number. I give my number to everybody, right? So they could ask more about it, but some people are going to watch this video from 2 weeks ago, and they're further behind than the people who was actually on the call live. Is that making sense? But it's the same information, just different speed and access. Got it? Think about your product from that perspective. And if you do, it changes everything, right? Let me show you why. So when you go on a podcast, right, you get to the people faster because it comes out in 2 weeks. So you probably want to practice that the most because that'll get you the fastest ROI on your knowledge. Even though, well, podcasts don't pay. Yeah, they don't pay people that aren't skilled enough to get paid from them, but they pay. They pay very well, right? And it pays the fastest because it happens right away. Has the most leverage. You don't have to leave your house to get in front of more people. The associations, they pay faster too. They actually pay more than the podcasters because the guys who you heard on the who heard you on the podcast, they didn't get to touch and feel you. You was in the association shaking hands. Right? When Valencia go to that coworker, she shaking hands and hey, yeah, they really get to feel the emotion. There are stories that I've heard on a podcast and it didn't even move me. I heard it in real life and my eyes get watery. Same story. Because it's just something about the emotion that a person can communicate in a live room. Does that make sense? All it takes is for me to have a bad microphone and this video is trash. But if you're in the room with me, you're going to feel my energy. You're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. But you see how there's so many things that can make things go wrong virtually? But when you're in the room, you should be able to close bigger deals. When you're in a conference, you should be able to close even bigger deals. Why? Because the people didn't pay on the podcast. They paid a small membership fee to be a part of the association, but they spent $2,000 to hear you at that conference. So they've already segmented themselves as a qualified payer. Does that make sense? The cost to go to that conference is more than to go to the local association meeting, which is more than it's the same thing. I don't know if you all see it, but I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's the same overlay. But if you're not prepared to go all the way through and you're saying, I'm waiting on the elephant. I'm gonna walk until I can afford the Lambo. You're a fool. Until I get that Lambo, I ain't doing. Go ahead, cool. Cool. But meanwhile, somebody else is walking. They're on a bike. They get an electric bike. They get a motorcycle. They get their first used car. They upgrade to a car they can afford. They eventually, and that's what we're doing. Right now, a lot of y'all speeches are walking speeches. They ain't that good. Just ain't nobody told you. Put it in the chat GPT. Chat GPT will tell you how trash you are. It tells me every day. I put all my interviews in there. I go through it. I'm like, yeah, I sucked on this part. Let me go and rewrite that. Make sure the next time I get better. I can get coaching in private so that I can get better in public. Does this make sense? So that's what this is about. It's really about how do we go and take what we have, perfect it in private, perfect it in front of a small group that's a bit more forgiving. Then we get on a bigger stage and other event planners in the room and other folks. Let's use sports. I think the football NFL draft is coming up, right? And see you later, man. Good to see you. Oh shoot, we almost at overtime. It's we're approaching overtime, guys. At 1 p.m. is when we go into overtime, which means that I will keep talking until my next meeting. But my next meeting today and until 2 o'clock Eastern. But we ain't talking that long. But
Hey, Ron,
no,
before you go further, Andrea wanted to know, she wanted you to repeat the ROI, the thing that you said about the fastest ROI.
but yeah. So what you're basically doing with your business, right, or any product, right? Everybody will get to the same destination, just at different speeds. So the analogy that I love to use is I can walk from Medellin to St. Louis. It's going to take me longer, but I can do it. I can also ride a bike from Medellin to St. Louis. It's going to take me less time than walking, but I'll eventually get there. I can drive my car. I can take a bus. I can fly. Every different modality still gets me to the final destination. The problem that most of us have been frustrated with, good to see you, Jasmine, with other people and other products that we bought is that we paid for something that didn't get us to what we paid for. I bought this guy's program, but it only got me to this part. Then he asked me, I got to pay a damn toll. I got to buy another, got to buy version 2 to get to the next half. Then I got to buy version 3 to get to the next third. You see what I mean? And that's what we don't like. That's why we get frustrated because we're like, I don't want to build that. I didn't like when somebody put me through it, so I don't want to build it for someone else. What I'm saying is you're going to give them the methodology, but they get to choose how they want to get there. Everybody will get there. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question, Andrea?
It did. In that moment when I was asking, it was more like just repeat that sentence, but it was really
I don't
fantastic, and I
remember the
appreciate you
sentence.
very much. I know it was a while ago, but I put it in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat.
yeah. I don't
I
remember
have
the
since
sentence.
learned you don't look at the chat.
Nah, yeah, that's Ange looks at the chat and
That's okay. Thanks so much.
we got it like a little winking system that she tell me stuff with Morse code with her eyebrows, right? When I see her go, that means I said something wrong, right? So, but any other questions? Is this been helpful? Because again, we don't need to be taught as much as we need to be reminded, right? A lot of times, see you later, right? We don't need something new. We just need to remember the old stuff. Like, yo, let me just get back in there and finish this thing, right? And boy, when y'all see the new speaker launch course, bananas. I'm talking about like bananas, the new thing, because it's all about building a business now. Before it was all about speaking gigs, whatever. We want to use speaking to build a business. So the entire new course is around that, and it is insane. I'm talking about like I was watching it this weekend. I'm like, boy, this is good. You boy, that boy good. Like on Coming to America. You know. Any other questions so far? Because that's really what I wanted to cover was how can you take one product and develop it into multiple things? Because a lot of times we be feeling we ain't good enough or we ain't ready, but we are. You are ready. Any questions? Anything? No? Cool. Well, this is an easy day. Going once, going twice. No other questions or comments. Cool. About any questions or comments about anything else? I got a little bit of time. Oh yeah, this is easy. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, my call to action is at least get the link that I put in the chat and have it to help you with your questions. You may even have to redo some of your questions after seeing what Chat GPT comes up with. right? So I would use the link that's in the chat. What you have to do is click it and make a copy. And then from that copy, you can go ahead and edit it and do whatever you want to do on your version. Cool? Well, all right, I'll let you guys go. Have a great day. This was good. Bye-bye.